During a recent debate in Westminster between Batya Ungar-Sargon, Matt Goodwin, Eric Kaufman, and Gad Saad, Matt mentioned mass immigration and the grooming gang scandal as examples of why woke ideology remains entrenched in this country. Matt mentioned Islamophobia laws prevent us from discussing the demographic threat posed by the growth of Islam in Britain. Batya then condemned Matt for suggesting that Islam could be incompatible with Britain and described the West as a Judeo-Christian-Muslim worldview.
I think that not having a First Amendment is being used to justify saying some actually hateful things. Now, I think hate speech in my country is protected speech. But to question whether citizens of your country are incompatible with the values of your country because of their faith is disgusting. How I would define wokeness is, it's when you take a worldview that should be based on right versus wrong. The Judeo-Christian-Muslim worldview that says that there is virtue and there is vice. There are good things and there are bad things. And people should strive to do good and strive to be good. And strive to abhor bad. And I think in the way Matthew was talking, I shouldn't say this because he's not here to defend himself, but you could sense the thrill that a person who has a lot of power and a lot of position gets from getting to see themselves as the victim. It seems like you have a policing problem with certain populations. That's also not the result of wokeness. That's a policing problem. In fact, in America, Muslims are some of the most anti-woke people because they don't want pornography in their children's schools. And in fact, before the war in Gaza sort of exploded this, there was a really beautiful coalition forming, bringing together very religious Muslims and very religious Christians to fight the trans movement. So, it just, to me, a lot of what is getting portrayed as the result of wokeness is the result of other ways in which other countries are not as good as mine, obviously. Probably should pay more attention to what's going on in other countries. I only found out about these grooming gangs because Elon Musk decided to tweet about it. And he tweeted about it to distract from the fact that he had majorly pissed off the MAGA base, Donald Trump's supporters, by suggesting that we're not bringing in enough H-1B visa holders to replace American workers. That's, to me, as an American, the whole point of the First Amendment is we justify, you can say whatever you want, but to question, I'm a religious Jew, I'm an Orthodox Jew. If somebody said, are religious Jews who are American citizens, because they're going to start outnumbering white people, suddenly we're going to question whether Judaism is incompatible with, American values? I mean, you've all read the Bible. There's stuff in there that's certainly not consistent with the First Amendment. That's disgusting. That's a despicable thing to say. Now, I would defend all of your right to say that, but that doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it just. It doesn't make it good. It doesn't make it moral to say that just because you guys should consider having a First Amendment. Okay. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. All right.
During the Q&A, I decided to challenge Batya and asked if new evidence might change her mind. She didn't like what I had to say.
I wanted to direct this to Batya, if that's okay. You said it was disgusting to question whether or not a given faith was compatible with the Western values or British culture. And you said there's quite a different context in America to what it is here regarding the grooming gangs. I don't know if you know, and I'd be interested to hear your response to this, see if it changes your mind. In the UK, Pakistani men are overrepresented by a share of 4 in child sex crimes. And when the children who have been abused by these gangs come forward and speak about it, they say they've been branded with the M for Muhammad on themselves, they've been subjected to forced Quran readings, and the families of the rapists have justified the abuse of the girls because they have said they dress immodestly by Muslim standards. And when they asked the police officers, the council workers, the politicians why they didn't speak up for this, in all of the reports, they say for political correctness, for community cohesion, because they didn't want to upset the Muslim community. Now, as well as the security of Jews, which you mentioned, according to the Henry Jackson Society last year, only a quarter of British Muslims think October the 7th happened. Like 3/4 of them think Hamas did nothing wrong, and that's mainly concentrated among university-educated British-born Muslims 18 to 30. So I think we have a very different problem in the UK than we do in the US. So do you still think it's not possible to say Islam is not compatible with Britain?
Okay. I want to take questions in groups of 3, and to give them a chance to think about this.
No,
and
I want to answer that.
Oh, do you want to answer that right away?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. All right. Go.
Like, I'm sorry, those are your citizens. Citizenship is the only human right that every person has a right to. When you have citizens of your country, I'm not arguing that you don't have a cultural problem here in a certain subset of the citizenry of your country. But a country is made up of the people who live there who have that legal right. You need to work a lot harder on changing hearts and minds, because you cannot simply say that a certain citizen of your country is not compatible. And by the way, we have statistics like that in America. There are certain subpopulations who are much more overrepresented in child sex crimes. It would never occur to me to suggest that they are less citizens. Like, citizenship is a sacred thing. What are you suggesting? That they be denaturalized? Like, that is insane. That is utter. You do not have a democracy if you think you can denaturalize people based on their ideas.
Okay. All right. It's good. We're going here. We're starting to get a debate. I like this.
Thank you to Touchpoint Strategies and the Centre for Heterodox Social Science for hosting the event. The full footage will be linked down in the description. While Batya would like to present the culture war as a clean divide between the people versus the elite, she is papering over deep, irreconcilable divisions between people's religions and ideologies. These divisions will not be resolved by a few more factory jobs in deprived northern mill towns in the UK or in the American Midwest, and the sooner we confront these uncomfortable issues, the better.